Good morning, hi. My name's Nina, welcome back to It's a Really Good Life. I am absolutely frozen stiff. It is winter here in Wollongong in Australia. And well, we're heading into spring, but for some reason today I'm just so cold. I'm out riding on my Pride Path Rider 140 XL mobility scooter. In today's vlog, I'm going to be introducing and talking to Mark Pietsch from Mobility Link Support Coordination here in Wollongong. I've known Mark for about a year now. We first met at the coffee club actually down in Shellharbour. After first meeting him, fuck me, I swear I needed a nap because he could talk. He could talk the arse off a bat, I swear. And I've never quite met someone with such thorough and in-depth knowledge about NDIS. Nobody ever. Anyway, he became my support coordinator, and over time he's also become a friend, and that's why I've invited him on today to share with you some of the questions that you might have wanted to know the answers to about support coordination and its importance in the NDIS landscape. So without more to say, let's get to it. So Mark, tell us a bit about yourself. What makes you such a passionate person? What makes you tick?
Hey, I'm Mark Pietsch. Originally from the Central West area, I moved up to Wollongong to study a double degree in psychology and social sciences. Massive nerd when it comes to legislation and policy. Most people hate it, I love it. And I like helping people. I grew up out at Tullamore, a small little town, 400 people in the middle of New South Wales, before moving to Forbes, where we took up an irrigation farm. After working in like manufacturing and welding, I actually tripped and fell into like the political space and worked for a while in the Deputy Premier's office doing intergovernmental relations and community services. After getting on top of my health the first time, started up a small gym where I moved into youth work, helping young people off the streets and with drug and alcohol issues and like some of the issues that people face growing up. Unfortunately, that's where I had an accident myself and injured myself quite severely, which took quite a massive toll on my health. I moved into working directly with young people in schools, focusing on youth work. It was there where I sort of saw the need for more mental health services, like being available in like rural areas. That's what actually spurred me to move to Wollongong to study psychology and social sciences. And my experience with like disability myself and the difficulties that's associated with navigating the system forced me to learn all the loopholes and all the tips and tricks, and I realised there's a lot of other people that need that help.
Hey Mark, so tell me about your support coordination business. How did it all start? Just give me the deets. And you know what? Also, how does having a disability yourself help or hinder you when running a business? Because really, that's pretty amazing stuff.
I've worked in the support coordination space for a few years now, and worked for other organisations, and I started Ability Links back in 2020 after a state government program finished up, and I always had a vision to help other people with disabilities to move into the disability sector and support others with disabilities. When I set up Ability Links, we actually set up as a disabled persons organisation, so we hire mainly people with disabilities or others that have lived experience with a disability or a family member with a disability. When we're, I suppose, working in the space, it is quite helpful to have that lived experience with a disability, because I know myself living with a musculoskeletal movement disorder and having experienced injury, having basically one of my heels macerated and torn off, and another bung leg that drops out on me occasionally, and autism and PTSD. It adds a lot of context and flavour to my life story, but it helps me to understand people that have gone through similar things. We're all different. Just because I have an experience with a disability, it doesn't mean it's going to be exactly the same as someone else's. But it helps me to understand personally some of the barriers and the challenges that people face. And I know I don't necessarily like to articulate and tell others about all of those barriers myself, and having that experience allows me to sort of preempt some of the struggles and put strategies in place to address things before they need to be talked about. Say having a disability definitely helps me to work in the disability sector, and allows me to sort of have that empathy and that compassion for others, because I've experienced it. I've lived some of the barriers and the challenges that we do face in the community, and I'd love to see others overcome them. Things can be quite confusing at times, and if I can make things a little bit simpler, or my team can, we'll do it.
Hey Mark, do you think support coordination is a role that is respected and valued by the NDIS? Let's talk about that, shall we?
Not to begin with. People have varied experience with support coordination, and that goes with NDIS planners and local area coordinators. Planners go through hundreds of plans a month, and they'll most likely not see that person again or at all in the first place. And a person with a local area coordinator, that local area coordinator could be supporting hundreds of participants. But when it comes to an SC, I think the big thing that's important is the number of people that they're actually supporting. If the NDIS doesn't value support coordination, it should. A good support coordinator can be the difference between a person experiencing crisis or a person avoiding a crisis. And if more of us avoid crises, it reduces our support needs in the future and increases a person's quality of life, which is the main foundation of the scheme. When it comes to respect and support coordination, I understand that there's a wide variety of experiences. Support coordinators, there's currently no minimum qualification for a level 2 support coordinator. That's why I sort of set a standard with my team. They've either got a Cert 4 in community services or equivalent, or a training in something within the allied health sphere. But when it comes to others within the industry, people rightly so can become confused with the legislation and the Act and interpreting that.
Oi, Mark. So, when looking to hire a support coordinator, what should an NDIS participant look for? And what does the support coordinator actually do?
When looking to hire a support coordinator, I generally look for someone, one, that I'm going to get along with. Rapport is a big thing. It's like I have to know that the person is going to stand up for me when I'm not there, and to like speak up and help others to understand the difficulties that I'm going through. The big thing that like I look for in a support coordinator when I'm hiring is someone that'll listen. I don't want someone that's going to be talking over me or just telling me what to do. The big thing to understand with support coordination, it's actually funded to increase a person's choice and control. That means that the participants in the driver's seat, when we're helping a person to understand what's available to be like funded through the NDIS, a big thing is understanding the NDIS Act, the price guide, the participant rules, knowing what the rules are, but also knowing about the grey areas and how to be inventive and creative to help a participant to actually do what they want to do. They're in the driver's seat. Just because something's not funded through the NDIS doesn't mean that it can't be done. A good support coordinator will look for supports outside of the NDIS as well, whether it's through the state government or talking to people in the community to help to come up with a solution to an issue. It really takes someone that's going to think outside of the box and come up with a solution that's going to help a person to live a engaging and like decent life that challenges a person's skills and abilities, not just like looking at a person's barriers. We all deserve an opportunity to shine, and that takes someone that's gonna like shine the spotlight on us.
Hey Mark, so tell me this, how do you manage not to get emotionally attached to your participants? And more importantly, I really shouldn't talk with my mouth full, but how do you practice self-care? Shit, did I just spit some of this out? Piggy!
It's a tricky one. Like when you're working with someone, you're always going to build up rapport and become close to someone, but there's always boundaries. I've learnt to be able to like switch off. The end of the work day, I'm essentially like taking off the SC uniform and going back to like my everyday sort of life after work. Even with that, you're always sort of constantly thinking like whether I can do something for that person, or you read an article or hear a story and you think, oh, that could be great for this person, or that could be great for that person. But it's important to have hobbies and like to have a life outside of work, and the more you do that, the more you think outside of the box and gather new ideas. Like I'm a massive nerd. I've got like a 3D printing hobby, and like it gives me something to relax and do in my spare time, but that's something that actually brings extra like flavor to my work as well. 3D printing like cool objects and stuff for clients, and like helps to build rapport as well. So like you can work without working, but you can live and work and just have that balance by sort of incorporating your life into your job, not your job into your life. That's pretty much all I can think of.